What's up, Buffs Nation, and welcome into Buffs News Weekly Live. I'm your host, Russ, and it is Monday, December 22nd, a few days away from Christmas. Happy holidays to everybody out there. Appreciate you for tuning in either live. We'll say hello to the chat here in just a little bit, or if you watch this video later on YouTube. Appreciate it. Comment down below. Let me know. Give me a hello. Give me a shout out. Appreciate you guys so much for coming. Oh, son of a gun. Appreciate you guys so much for coming in. Just got an error message, so I was making sure that everything was good. If everything's doing well for you guys out there, let me know. Comment in the chat, make sure that's live. Looks like we're having some issues maybe with the Twitter side of things, but YouTube says it's live and we are good. So hopefully the 35 plus people that are in here are doing well. But it looks like we're live now over on Twitter. Everything's up and going. We've got a lot to talk about. Obviously the big show on Saturday, and everything that we talked about. Want to address some things with that. Want to cover some different things. Wanted to also give you guys some updates on some more things that I've been learning since Saturday. I want to give, first off, a shout out to everybody that has shown support, that has shown, reached out to thank me for everything that I talked about, provided, how I did it. Not everybody. I told you guys that things would be taken out of context. I told you guys that there would be some people that wouldn't be happy with me talking about what I did, saying what I did. There definitely was that. Probably the most interesting thing that I got out of the weekend and me talking about what I did and how I talked about it and all that, it's been very interesting seeing the response from certain groups of people. I've been called a CU hater, a Prime hater. I've also been called a mouthpiece for CU that think I am somehow being this yes man that's trying to defend Colorado and defend Coach Prime. And I am just a part of this propaganda machine that CU has rolled out. So it's been very funny because at this point, the best way that I can put it and where I stand in all of this is that I literally stand on my own. Like, I'm literally getting cut off from every side that's out there. The people who do hardcore support CU are not liking what I provide. The people who are absolutely against it, of course, are finding things to nitpick and pick at with what I had to say. Which is kind of crazy to me on both sides, and we'll talk about it. Okay. Cause like I said, I want to expand on what happened over the weekend, what I talked about, what I learned after the fact as well, because again, I want to keep you guys updated, when it comes to that. Okay. I get it. I appreciate that. But I did. I mean, I made my rounds. I watched Matt's stream today. I was in the chat. I was getting so much crap from different people. Several people. There was several people that are like, I'm subscribed to you. I love what you're doing, but now you're just becoming DNVR and Neely, and you just want to, make the team sound as good as possible, which is kind of crazy because that's not it at all. Like, I said something that DNVR and Neely absolutely would never say. Ever. And in fact, I had some DNVR people reach out to me about, the information and stuff that I provided on Saturday, and I'll go into that a little bit more as well. I always said my dream would be to be with those guys. Like, they do this professionally. They are professional journalists. I want to be taken seriously in what I do, and how much I appreciate it. And to be honest, what I said Saturday and what I showed to everyone, no, and Joe, I'll talk about that too, by the way. I've talked to Matt. I mean, he agreed with me. Guys, if you watched Matt today, I mean, essentially, he said everything I said was absolutely correct. He corroborated everything. And then what I loved that he did which again, I chatted with Matt about that. He even said that, because people were like, wow, how are you guys blaming Corey and how are you doing that? Like it's Prime that should be at fault. And even Matt said, no, I don't blame Prime. Like he was out of the school for so long with his health stuff that, yeah, some people took over in the building a little bit more than others and did certain things, especially in this last year. So that's where that is at. That's my only thing I wanted to say with that. Appreciated what Matt had to say. I mean, again, we've talked about this. I've had Matt on the show. And in fact, I probably plan to have Matt again at some point, just because I like getting every angle. Okay. That's why it's so crazy to me that people are trying to label me one or the other. Like, that's not what I'm trying to be at all. And you know, I appreciated what he had to say, because he, again, after I posted the Saturday thing, he reached out to me and he said, you were absolutely right. What you said was everything that I've known. And here's my big thing to you guys too, because I get it. Matt is not everyone's cup of tea. Okay. Matt is not everybody's cup of tea. I will say that over and over again. Matt knows that. And that's fine. That's who he is. And I appreciate that. I can respect that. I can do all that stuff. He reached out after Saturday to let me know, hey, yeah, it is exactly that. I agreed. This is everything. And then he did. He spilled all his tea today because I put it out there. And if you guys listen to what he had to say, I'll throw this out there again before we get into it. But he corroborated everything I said. He talked about everything I said. He went in deeper. But what I loved about what I think you guys need to realize is when it truly comes down to it, Matt truly does want CU to succeed. Certain other formats and channels and avenues don't want CU to succeed. Matt really does, because he had all that info for years, guys. He had all that info for the years. And the reason why he went on today and did an emergency pod and aired out his side of the story and again, corroborated everything I said when it came to the recruiting side of things was because he cared about the program so much that he protected the program essentially from that news being put out there while Corey was still a part of the program, while he was still the head recruiter, while all of that. And today he literally went out there and said, hey, this is absolutely right. I'm never working with Corey again. Do not think that I'm going to support or help Memphis in any way while he is there. Okay. So that's where we're at with that. Okay. That's where we're at with that. It was there. It happened. Okay. Let's get into everything from Saturday. Let's get into what I learned. Let's get into some updates on it. Okay. Because I want to give you guys the latest and latest and greatest information. Obviously, I said, first off, that what I said Saturday was going to be taken out of context. Fortunately, that's exactly what happened. A clip from the show where I was talking about Corey went not really viral, but within the Buffs community, it was passed around. It was passed to everybody, including Corey himself, by the way, which I find absolutely hilarious. But everybody took that clip. And again, you can see it right here. We'll see how long you last today, because I'm in a mood that I'm just not going to deal with it anymore. But it was taken out of context. It was promoted out of context. And the problem with it is it made it seem like I was coming out and saying that it was all Corey Phillips' fault. Like he was the only person to blame for everything that went bad in this program. And if you watch the full 2-hour video, you guys know, if you guys watch the full 2-hour video and understand what I was saying, okay, that is not what I was doing. That was not what I was doing at all. It was one piece of a very large puzzle. There was a reason I was live for 2 hours. I know. I'm sorry that I rambled so much at the beginning. I'm sorry that I did all that. I told so many people, like, hey, speed up the video. I don't care. Like, speed up the video. Get past those certain parts. I get it. I did that. I needed to get out all that information and really talk about it. But the fact was that when it really came down to it, what the whole video's purpose was to say that it was not just one person's fault. When it really comes down to it, and I mean, I guess it is one person's fault. It's Coach Prime. He is the CEO. He is the one in charge. When things go wrong under you as the CEO, you're the one that has to take responsibility. You're the one that has to take blame. You're the one that has to do something about it. And Coach Prime has decided to do that. Okay? That's where it is. Okay? And so, clip goes out saying just the 2-minute part of a 2-hour video where I talked about Corey himself and what his part was in it, and what happened and why, what was going on, what I heard. When it comes to Colorado and when it comes to, how recruiting was going. And that was, the focus of that aspect when there was so much else, going on outside of that. That was just one small piece of it. I will say, I'd like to throw out there a correction of something that I said that was a part of that clip that I've since found out more and more information about. Okay. When it came to Caden Salter. Okay. I did have a couple people reach out to me and give me different point of views and different information about that that I do trust. So I want to say that it wasn't as simple and black and white as I put it. Okay. That one is not as simple and black and white. And I'm saying this because in the other breath, like I said, I got tons of confirmation that the rest of that was true. The way that Colorado recruits were treated, the way that recruiting was handled was the same. But to simply say that, hey, it was Box versus Corey when it came to Caden Salter, that we can blame, Corey for Caden Salter and what happened. No, that's not the case. Okay. So I want to let you guys know that right off the bat. That part I was wrong. I got good corrections. I asked some more people a little bit more details about that one specifically. They said that one's a really tough case about what's going on, about what's happening. And when it really comes down to it, Prime was good with having Caden Salter, and he wanted Caden Salter here to compete with Julian Lewis. Okay. That one, I mean, he had his hands on it. It was not a case of that not being what he wanted or anything like that. That absolutely was a part of that. Okay. So I wanted to throw that out there first and foremost to let you guys know that that part was not correct. And I wanted to make sure you guys know. Do we know the exact timeline and story of the Caden Salter stuff? No, I do not. Nobody else truly knew either. Okay. There's that. The other thing that I got corrected, which again is why I wanted to do this stream today, I wanted to really dive into it because I got information about it. I got the correct information about it. I wanted to share and give you guys the full picture of what's going on. And that was what I talked about with the NIL budget for Colorado. I stated incorrectly that the NIL budget was 30 to 32 million. I got that. I will let you guys know from an agent and a trainer associated with the program that was what they were hearing was roughly the budget. That's not the case. I had a person directly involved with the program and the situation reach out to let me know, hey, Russ, that part of your stream was wrong. Okay. They did not correct anything else, by the way. They literally just said, hey, this amount is incorrect. Let me give you some context and info. Feel free to share it with everybody so that people have an idea of what's going on and how this is working. Okay. So I wanted to bring that up and talk about it to let you guys know where we're at. Because again, some people took what I said and they started throwing out, things about, well, we have this much money. We have plenty of money to spend on this player. And why didn't we spend this money on this player? Because obviously that also came out over the weekend and I want to address the Byard stuff as well. So the money that I was told, and trust me, this person I trust probably more than anybody that's reached out to me with information. The information that they gave me that they wanted to say is, this is their words. I'm going to use their quote as well. Okay. Here to give you something to talk about when it comes to NIL, the top schools in the country do full rev share, which is, by the way, not the 20.5 budget that we've been talking about. Football uses a different amount. 20.5 is for the whole school, and each school, they utilize it for everything, not just football. So in the country, the top schools, the best schools in the country, money-wise, NIL, all of that stuff, They use their full rev share, which is 16 million or so of the $20.5 million rev share budget that a school gets. And then they have like 10 to 15 million dollars over that rev share. That's going to be your Texas Tech, your Oregons, your Ohio State, your Michigans, all of that. Okay, guys, that gives you an idea of what's going on. And some of those schools go even further than that. Okay, obviously there was that rumor that came around. I think it was Texas Tech or A&M's like 60 million, some crazy number. I don't know if that's true, what that specific is, but that's what this person gave me as far as the numbers. He said, and I quote, "We are around, CU as a program, 18 to 20 million all in right now, right this very second, which needs to improve." Okay. Over the cap is what they want to get to. And there is a big push from donors trying to get to that point right now. Okay. And we will, David, I will get to your comment as well. I'm gonna star you there because we're gonna talk about that separately when we talk about obviously what happened over the weekend as well. He also said, and he named schools. I'm not gonna name them in this quote because I don't want to do that to them either. He just said there are schools like blank and blank though who don't even use the full amount they are in rev share because their school can simply not afford to pay the full rev share out. And if you can prove that you don't have the money to pay the rev share out, you don't have to pay the rev share out. The $20.5 million that every school is supposed to have available to spend on athletes is not the case for every single school. Okay, that's just where it's at. So essentially, it's kind of like what I talked about. I was incorrect in my actual numbers, but I said there's like 3 tiers of football. There is the top tier, which are those schools that I called it the unlimited funds school. They don't have unlimited funds, but they have a lot of funds. Then you have the mid-tier schools, which, as this person states, they're paying just above rev share. They're right at the rev share, paying just above it as far as the budget to spend money goes. And then you've got schools below that literally cannot afford to even match the rev share. They don't have enough money in their programs to pay out that kind of money for players, coaches, and items like that. Okay, so that's what's going on there. Okay, when it comes to the rev share, and again, trust me, I really trust who this person is and their tie to the program and what they have going on. Okay. I've seen them break a lot of information for the school, and they're just in the know. So that gives us a better understanding where we're at. Okay. So are we where we need to be NIL wise? No. Are we better off than probably a lot of people think we are? Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. Those players out there, or those people out there that want to say that CU has no money whatsoever, is wrong. I mean, and you guys can tell that if you just look into it. You're not going to pay Coach Prime $10 million if you don't have any money at all. You're not going to pay Coach Brennan Marion over $1 million as an OC to be the second highest paid coordinator in CU history behind Robert Livingston, who on the defensive side is the highest paid coach in CU history as far as non-head coaches go. So we're right in the middle where it needs to be. Okay. It needs to get better though. If we truly want to compete with the top echelon of football, it needs to be better. So that's where that is. Okay. And I truthfully, I appreciated them reaching out, telling me that information. They didn't disband any of the other stuff I talked about. So again, the crazy part about my video Saturday is a lot of the stuff that I said, I had people reaching out to me left and right in my DMs saying that, Russ, again, what you said was absolutely true. I can corroborate it. It was my personal experience. It was this kid's personal experience. It was all this happening. That's what's going on there. Okay. So those are my updates from Saturday as far as what I've learned since then. Now we can move on to what does that mean as far as roster construction? What does that mean as far as all of the players that have left Colorado and the absolute explosion of the roster? And what does that mean for this program going forward? Okay. Obviously, the other thing that comes down to is the Uncle Neely video that came out that so many people want to talk about. And I will tell you my honest and true opinion again, which is why when people say that I'm like a prime homer that's just ignoring all the bad stuff and I'm just as bad as these people or this person or this person. I laugh because I have not once, and I will not defend that video that Uncle Neely put out talking about the roster construction and what's happening with all these players leaving. Okay. I don't think letting private, like from his perspective, as far as the contract negotiations go, information out is a good thing when you're attached to the school like he is. And I also don't think calling out a player and pretty much calling them bad on the way out is a good look either. I understand what he was trying to convey for the program. He just did a crappy job of doing it that makes the program look bad with players and people alike. So there's that. I want to get to the point where I say I see what they're trying to do and what they were trying to say. He just said it in a very, very poor way. Because I love Tawfiq Byard. Okay. I love what he brought. The dude, like, let's take the money out of it. Okay. The fact that he brought up the $500K, the fact that he brought up Tawfiq Byard's stats, let's throw that all out of this conversation right now for a second. And let's just have a real honest conversation here. Okay. Tawfiq Byard on a defense that was absolutely crappy and terrible. He was the heart and soul out there. He worked his butt off. He played through countless injuries on a team that was with that record. He didn't need to. He could have easily just said, you know what? I'm going to take a medical red shirt. There's no point in me playing. I'm not going to improve this team's record. I'm not going to help them improve this team's record because we can't go anywhere. Once the bowl game was out the window, he could have just hung up the cleats for the year and then entered the transfer portal after the year and gone on elsewhere, whatever it is. So that's where that part of it, I'm like, that is crazy to me that we're gonna say those things. On the other side of it, on the team's perspective and why they might say, hey, Tawfiq, we aren't really prepared to pay you this amount of money because of what we have going on. I don't think a safety is what we need to prioritize in the portal. And tell me if you guys think I'm wrong with that. Okay. And what I mean by prioritizing the portal, because obviously we have to add safeties. We don't have any. I mean, like, do you guys want to pay a lot of money for a safety, or do we want to pay a lot of money for trench players / linebackers? Like that's what he should have just been saying. That's it. Should have been like, hey, Tawfiq, you did great. You're a great player. We're just not going to prioritize paying, whatever you call it, a lot of money or whatever. That's the thing. I don't think I would at this point because of how we need to build this roster. Think of it, guys, think of it like professional sports now, okay? Think about it like professional sports. When we look at our teams, our favorite pro teams, right? We need I think linebacker is your quarterback of the defense, not safety. Linebacker is your quarterback. I want to prioritize linebacker. He's the best defender on a 9-3 on a 3-9 team. Like, that's what's crazy, guys. There are negotiations. You eventually hit it on that. Okay. So, like, look at our NFL teams. I'll use an example. Okay. Because again, here's the problem. NFL teams contracts and contract stuff and all that stuff is public, and so fans can see that stuff. Ask a Bronco fan about when we had to let Justin Simmons go. Like, no, it's not his fault. It's not his fault. But the point is, we need a lot more than just Byard. We need a lot more on this team than just one player. Paying Byard $500K and having him maybe be one of the highest paid players on our defense is not going to all of a sudden make us better. We've got to buy a lot of players. This is what happens on rebuilding teams. Sometimes they let their best talent walk because they've got to find stuff elsewhere. Like, this again has nothing to do with who the person is. I think the biggest problem that I'm seeing right now in the fandom is our tie to certain players and just what we have going on. Again, yeah. Bingo. Okay, terrorized. That's what I said. That's what I literally started with. I don't care. We can have the conversation where we debate whether or not he's worth it to retain, which we started to do. I did not like the belittling either. That is what my point was in that video this weekend. That was a horrible way to put that message out there, to belittle him and act like he's not a great player. Okay. Is he worth $500K? I will tell you this right now. He probably is. But the question is, maybe not on this team. Maybe not on this team. I remember a lot of fans, because Coach Prime, when he started here, guys, he decided to build this program up a specific way that I saw a lot of fans upset with. Okay. He decided to build this program from the outside in. And that brought us to where we are. And I heard so many people say that that was a dumb way to build the program up, that we needed to start in the trenches and build our way out. And it seems like that's what's happening right now. Why pay top dollar on the outside when our immediate need and our most desperate need, and we're literally going to have to fill the entire thing, is the inside? And so right now, if you look at that transfer portal, guys, there is a lot of talent available. There is a lot of talent available to bring in, especially in the spots that we are desperately needing. Okay. The interior of the defense, the linebackers in the transfer portal this time around, guys, are absolutely insane. Remember, guys, my conversation Saturday and how I said that Coach Hart brought a lot of really great linebackers in on visits to Colorado who wanted to be at Colorado, and Hart wanted them there, but he was not given the budget or the money to pay those guys to actually bring them in and make a difference. So that's what's happening right now, is there is a lot of talent out there that the team is going to want to bring in and pay money to. So, yeah, we could definitely pay. We're going to have to pay a lot of guys that much to bring them in. The question is, could we get a similar type player, a hungry player, a guy who's willing to, sacrifice everything? Could you find it for less? Again, going back to my pro sports analogy, the teams that win championships in pro sports are the teams who obviously have superstars. Yes, I mean, you have superstars in very specific positions, and you have very good talent in specific positions. But the teams that win championships are the teams that also get more out of the lower players on the roster. The guys who are on budget-friendly deals, the guys who are on, contracts that are not costing you an arm and a leg. You still pay for superstars. You have to have superstars. Again, going back to 2 years ago with Travis and Shador, yeah, we had superstars on the team, essentially in those two, but we had a lot of role players too. And by role players, again, I'm not trying to belittle those guys. I mean guys who, when they first came in, may not have been thought of as like guys who were going to be difference makers, but did. And I could name all those guys off. You had the Nakai Hill-Green. You had Chidozie Nwankwo. You had the receivers that we brought in that made a big difference on that team. Yes, Travis and Shedeur were the big names that put up the stats and the numbers. And Travis went on to win the Heisman. And obviously, Shedeur is who he was. But you got to have the rest of that filled out. And so the question is, where are you going to decide those positions? Are there positions on the field? And you guys can say this more than anybody else. Are there specific positions on the field that you have a better chance of finding somebody like that than other places? One of those positions, by the way, guys, is wide receiver. Like, yes, there are superstar wide receivers out there, and they do make a difference, okay? But is it better to get a superstar wide receiver on the team, or is it better to get like 3 or 4 pretty decent guys with maybe a guy who's just the one that may not be getting crazy numbers, but, you know, is up there? Like, that's how you put together a team in all of sports, not just NFL, not just college football either. And so there's that side to it. Byard's going to get his, okay? He's going to get paid. He's going to probably end up at a school where he does some great things, okay? And that's because I believe in who he is as a person. The same goes for Omarion Miller, okay? Omarion Miller, he's probably going to go get decent money out of school. He's probably going to light it up, get a lot of yards. But the question is, do we as our team, where we need and our needs, is it worth it for us to spend a lot of money on those type of players? That's the big question when it comes to how you're building your roster. And I think right now, as I talked about on Saturday, this is a reboot. This is a rebuild type situation where Colorado is turning over a lot of guys. They're setting some hard lines in the sand when it comes to negotiation with those players. And they're saying, you know what? And again, I'm not saying they're right or wrong. I'm just letting you know what they are doing as they build out this team. They're putting some lines in the sand and saying, hey, we think that you're worth this. We think that your role in this team is going to be this. And if you're not okay with that and you don't want to do that here, then that's fine. Let's just mutually agree to part ways and we'll just walk away from this. And that's essentially what happened this weekend with all those guys that left. It was all a negotiation. The team said no, the player moves on, and they're going to go get paid that somewhere else to be a part of someone else's program. There might be a team out there that's built right now, ready to compete in a good space, and they're desperately in need of a safety. And so they're willing to throw down a new chunk of cash on a guy like Byard to be that safety for them and to make a difference. Great. Colorado is not a single safety away from being a championship contender. They've got to make sure that they fill the biggest needs. And the biggest needs right now are the defensive line, the offensive line, and the linebackers. Those are the 3 biggest things that they need to get right now. And so that's where it's at. Okay. TMFB's got it here. Chill on the skill players. Top trench guys only, or 2026 going to be another tough season. As I said, there are enough guys out there in the skill positions that you can grab players that can play those parts and do okay, or do great, or overperform, or underperform. You know, would you rather bank all of your safety budget into just Byard, or would you rather bring in like 4 safeties that are hungry and maybe, you know, 1 or 2 of them hits and is a lot better than they were? Do you guys see what I'm trying to say here as far as the build? Now, I absolutely get it. You can disagree with me. That's fine too. I get it. There's a lot of people that said that Byard's absolutely worth that. We should have just paid it. We should have retained him. We need to retain more players, and not just let everybody go all the time and do all this stuff. Okay. It is where it is. And so that's it. But again, I also agree. That I don't take a shot at the kid like that. Like, especially when you're tied to the program. It's different when just like a random person like David or myself says, hey, we hate this player because of this, that. When you're literally tied to the program, it's just a worse look. It's a worse look because there's one thing being a couch GM, a couch coach, whatever you want to say across the board, to say, hey, this is what's going on, like, to talk down on that player. Just say that it wasn't in the cards. We have other plans at safety. We have other plans at what we're planning to do there. And it just wasn't in the cards for us to be able to afford that. So there's that. That's what I didn't like about it. And again, look, I'm not being a yes man for this program. The people who wanted to say I was being a yes man today in Matt's comments, not really looking at what's going on. It was just kind of crazy to me. It was kind of crazy. And it was just dumb. Okay. But I also understood why he's not here anymore. Okay. I understood why Byard's not here. I understand why a lot of those kids are not here anymore and why so many are leaving. I mean, it is, like I said, it is a full reboot. They're wanting to get their own players in. They're wanting to get, different things going. I've told you guys on Saturday, I'll tell you guys again, the coaching staff is going to continue to change. The coaching staff is going to continue to change. And the finalization of the coaching staff is going to be by New Year's. We should know what is going to happen by New Year's. Okay? I mean, you're a Georgia fan and you're seeing it. So it looks like you're fine with the kids that are leaving. I mean, you tell me as a Georgia fan, do you want half these kids to sign there? Do you want Omarion Miller? Do you want to pay him like $1 million, top dollars, to come be your receiver number one at Georgia? I would like to know that. I mean, if you want to be a part of the chat, I think that's a great thing that you can say too. We get tied to players as being their personal thing, because we know them. We know them. We feel like we know them. And so, yeah, we get a little bit, some people get a little bit frustrated, a little bit tired. Like, they're going to go on to be great wherever they go. I do truly believe that. But it's also not the end of the world when those people go out. What are we talking about specifically? Are you talking about the clip about at the beginning that I talked about with Corey Phillips? It was just a small piece. I even said that Coach Prime is just as culpable and to blame because he's the one that put them in charge. He's the one that put them in charge. And again, with that clip, by the way, just to go back, I never once said in the clip that he sabotaged on purpose Colorado. No, he just thought that he was right. He thought that he was right and his decisions were right, and he didn't want anybody else's input or decisions or help. So there's that. No, I know, guys. I appreciate the guys. I appreciate all you guys that are showing support. Trust me, I'm good. I'm good, and I do appreciate it. Okay, I'm good, and I do appreciate it from a lot of you guys for what you're doing. And I love this from our Georgia fan. UGA offers middle school kids scholarships. Yeah. There you go. Okay, guys. So that's what we're going to be seeing when we go forward and build this team up in the transfer portal. Okay, so now you guys got a little bit better idea of what the budget is. So it's not the 30 million. Okay, 10 million is a big deal when it comes to building. And yeah, if our budget was 30, 35 million, 500K for Byard to stay would be chump change. In essence, 18 to 20 million as the budget, and how many players we have to add and how much big of a roster, it adds up pretty quick because you're not just going to pay your best players 500K. No, some players are getting closer to $1 million. Some players are getting raises, i.e., we've talked about it. Jordan Seaton, it's a will he, won't he kind of thing that every day changes. He's going to be getting a lot of money if he stays. I mean, you're talking probably $2-3 million for him alone. So there's that too. I don't know if we have only 10 million for 60 plus players. Again, I can't give you the exact breakdown of what's happening. Yeah, okay, here, I'll give it right now. Yeah, he was right. They left. He was getting fed information by all those players directly. Not a good look for those kids, by the way. If they're going to go, leak that stuff directly to somebody who's then going to throw it out there, it's not going to help their chances at finding other schools. It can hurt their chances at time. But yeah, he was right. Because he was told by them directly. He didn't say that he was told by them directly, but it's obvious that those players have been talking with him and telling him exactly what they were going to do. I mean, left tackles are in the NFL, they're the second highest paid player on a team, usually. You got the quarterback and then you got the left tackle, if they're a superstar left tackle. So you got Julian Lewis getting paid one of the highest players on the team, and you've got Jordan Seaton getting paid one of the highest on the team. It kind of makes sense to me. It's an important position to have. It is. Now, obviously, if they think they could get a player, that is capable of playing left tackle for a lot less, that'd be a different conversation. I think the problem is they don't think that because it's not an easy position to grab. It's why teams are throwing such high amounts Jordan Seaton's way to try and get him to leave Colorado and go to their team. So there's that too. Yeah, I mean, Steve, you get it. Building construction of teams, it looks easy on Madden. It looks easy on all that. It's not easy elsewhere. That's all I can say. Like, I'm not going to give you no answers. I can't say this is exactly what needs to happen. I got crapped on, Joe, for, calling out the London Merit stuff because everybody was like, he only said one of the four is leaving and then more than the four left. And I brought that up and I got crapped on. Like, it just, there's no point to argue with those people at this point. There's no point to have a conversation or argue. There are just people that are going to blindly follow it no matter what. And it is what it is. Cam, that's what I don't get to an extent. The people that are like going hard after other people. That it's kind of crazy. Buddy, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I mean, that's roughly what you're looking at as far as the breakout goes for players on this team. Well, if Seaton's gone, then he's gone. I've heard people say that he's gone, and then the next day say he's staying, and then the next day say he's gone, and then the next day say he's staying. I'll wait until he hits the portal. He hits the portal, he hits the portal. It is what it is. Smash the like button, subscribe. I appreciate you, Lady C. Yeah, if you guys are in here, if you guys are watching on Twitter, by the way, I am simulcasting this again after not doing it Saturday. Because again, I mean, I do crazy numbers on Twitter, but I get nothing from Twitter for going live with this. If you guys would kindly at least jump over to YouTube, hit the like, add the subscribe, that would be nice. That's all you have to do. I'm not asking for Patreon money. I'm not asking for any of that stuff. I brought that up in the chat with Matt because I said that. I said that's my problem is he knows his X's and O's. He knows how to break down film, but just won't ever say if something was, a mistake because, again, the tape doesn't lie. The film doesn't lie. If they don't succeed elsewhere, then it's not their fault. It's the coach's fault. It's the system they went to. It's the team they went to. All of that stuff. That's the part that I don't love. It is what it is. There's something wrong in the house. Where is well off? Where is reach the people? I mean, it's off season, Israel. I don't think they're going to show much behind the scenes as much. I mean, you even heard Bucky towards the end of the season when things were not going well. He stopped doing as much when it came to practice. I mean, he was doing more personal vlogging / then looking for stuff with, Shador and Shiloh and all that stuff that happened. Let's continue on with the chat. I mean, that's just one of them. That's another one. I said that today, but it just, happened. Zoe, you kill it, buddy. You killed it. $20 super chat from Zoe. I appreciate you so much. A few of these kids were good, but Neely had a point. A lot of the production can be replaced. Here's my only point that I'll make the opposite. Remember, earlier on the stream, I said I would have. I'm in agreement that you should let Byard walk if 500K is truly the number that he's looking for. Okay. Here's my devil's advocate for the other side. You know what you're getting when it comes to Tawfiq Byard. You know that he is a dog. You know that he works his butt off. You know that he would be, the right spot. He would work so hard, do all that stuff. So you're essentially paying the quote unquote premium to keep somebody around that you know what type of player you're getting. You don't know what production they'll give you next year versus this year, all that. That would be my only argument for why you keep Byard around. But I also agree. I mean, we were a 3-9 team. And yes, he was our best defensive player on a 3-9 team. That's just where it's at. Other super chat I appreciated. JuJu didn't win us a game. Why is he paid so high? Look at the transfer portal right now, and you know exactly why quarterback is paid so high. Yeah, he didn't win us a game as a true freshman playing his first ever games. He looked good doing it. He has a lot of ceiling of a potential. And right now, by the way, JuJu is not even close to the going rate of quarterbacks on the open market. I don't know if you guys saw the article that posted about what quarterbacks on the open market are expected to get this offseason, but quarterbacks are expected to make $5 to $6 million this portal season. All of the top quarterbacks that hit the portal that are leaving their schools are going to get $5 to $6 million. $5 to $6 million. So to say that we're paying Julian Lewis, and again, we don't know the exact number because this stuff isn't public, but say it's, $1 million, $1.1 million, $1.2 million, whatever. That's pretty darn low compared to the going rate out there. Like, that's the going rate of a guy who did what Julian Lewis did this past year. So in essence, Julian Lewis, he's getting the going rate of the quarterback level that he's at right now, with the hope that he explodes and gets bigger, and the team will probably have to pay him accordingly once that happens. Okay. There's that. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense. Just wanted to let you know why the thinking of that is happening and what's going on with everything else. But I appreciate you guys so very much for the super chats, the 2 super chats. Thank you guys so much. Northside, you're not wrong. But in every sport, professional, when payments come in, you always have a team that end up overpaying for somebody that screw up. And guess what? Those teams end up in the crapper as a result. It happens. Nobody's perfect. Again, if it was easy to find the exact player and pay them the exact amount that they're worth, you'd never lose a game. Think of all of the pro teams in the world that have, that bad free agent signing. Essentially, that's now college football. Is you've got to pay kids a certain amount to get them. You might get into bidding wars with other team, which by the way, the said person that told me about the budget, or not that person, the different person just said that Colorado does not like getting into bidding wars where they just go back and forth, bidding until one team is left. Jaheim Otis, they did get in a bidding war over, and it sucks. It does. It sucks. That they hitched their wagon to the wrong train. They hitched it to the wrong place. Staging. $2 super chat again. I'm the one who started that Cam Champa movement today. Appreciate you. I would love to see Cam here. University of Northern Colorado. Kid wants to stay in Colorado, by the way. If you guys haven't seen that, that's safety Cam Champa. University of Northern Colorado. Yes, FCS school, but he had an absolutely outstanding breakout year. He's leaving that school to try and pursue getting to the Division I level. And his parents came out today and said that they would absolutely kill for him to play for Colorado. So let's hope that Coach Box and that staff are on top of that, and they reach out to him and they give him a chance to come here. But again, it doesn't mean that they're automatically going to come here. A parent saying that they want a kid to come to that school is one thing, but the kid is also going to be looking for something. The kid is also going to be looking for something. And so, you know, if Colorado sees whatever they're asking for as valuable, then maybe he gets here, maybe if not. So there's that. Joe, double super chat. I don't know if you meant to do that. Let me know, Joe. Apologies if that happened. I saw this happen on another channel today, so I don't know if there's an issue with YouTube right now. If you need that refunded, I can see what I can do. I can find out if that needs to happen. Just let me know. But I'll double show you, unless it's one and it's just showing up twice. I don't know. All these players, and there's probably more that will go, are not only leaving because of money, must be culture and coaching too. Joe, you're absolutely right. It's not just money. It's never going to be just money. If a kid does not agree with a coach's decision of who he plays, do you think they're going to stick around too? No. If they think they can stay here successfully and get paid to do it, they'll stay. But there's definitely other things that play a part, not just money. Sometimes it is just money, but I'm just saying, sometimes there are situations where you might say, hey, you played the wrong person, and I'm mad about that, so I'm leaving. Okay. What about change in scheme and diminished role? Yeah, common sense. I talked about that on Saturday, by the way. I don't know. I didn't see you in the chat on Saturday on that video, but I talked about that too. A lot of what is happening right now, I literally said that the coaches, once they've cleaned staff, Coach Prime, Brennan Marion, you know, I'm sure Livingston is part of these conversations. They've sat down, watched tape on every single player on the roster currently. And they did. They decided what players' roles would be for next year. And they decided how much money they would be willing to pay that person. And then they would present it to those players. And that's part of the reason that those players are leaving too. They don't agree with what's being told of them as far as scheme goes, as far as the role that they're going to have in this team and the money that comes along with that role. That's absolutely a part of it. Just an FYI. I went into that in great detail as part of that 2-hour video, talking about what's going on right now as far as the team goes. Yeah, I saw that after the game. That's what I was saying. I knew that you were the one. First purchase was delayed. I thought it did not go through, so I bought again and it went through. I don't know if his went through. It looks like he might have got a refund because I think it pulled back, so I hope that didn't happen. Joe, if you're around, just let me know. Another super chat. Appreciate you. Monarchper. Can Colorado win a natty with limited funds? I mean, nothing's impossible. Is it going to be easy to do it with limited funds? And by the way, I keep seeing a bunch of people coming in here saying limited funds. I keep seeing people say Colorado cheap, Colorado no fun. Literally, did nobody listen to the front end? I mean, Colorado has money to spend. They're not poor. They're not broke. There were several schools that were mentioned to me that are technically quote unquote broke and have no money to spend. And that was not Colorado. We have money. We just don't have the top tier funds. We don't have the unlimited funds, the ability to just throw massive amounts at tons of different players. We have the ability to do what is necessary to put together a decent team. And again, people are going to say, oh, Russ, look, you finally said it. Like, we'll still need the coaching to get the best out of the players. We'll still need the scheming to get the best out of the players. There's a lot of things that need to happen. It's not just simply money either. So, and again, that's why we're seeing a cleaning of the house. That's why Brennan Marion is your OC. That is why they hired a new linebackers coach. That is why we're going to see other coaches on this staff added here shortly. Everything was wrong with this program last year, and they're cleaning house with it. So that's what's going on, guys. Okay, I appreciate the super chat. But you're going to have a very hard time What do you mean cheap, Russ? It's called being cheap. What is cheap? Okay, you want them to overpay for a player that they don't think is going to have a big role in this team next year, or that they don't think is going to fit what they're planning to do, or they don't think. There's a lot of things. That's their decision. We can debate it all we want. I mean, there comes a point where it's like give or take on money, give or take on that. That's true, Gotti. That's true. Lack of evaluation was definitely there. We talked about that. You're right, Gotti. You're right. You're right. But this is why Corey Phillips is gone. Lack of evaluation. The evaluation was not good. The man calling the shots on bringing players in was not great. Did not make the right decisions. Burnt a lot of bridges. Had a lot of easy wins that he could have got to Prime to help him out. It is what it is. That's true, Northside. You are going to overpay in the portal regardless. That's absolutely true. But it's overpay by how much? And then be able to pay other players. That's true. But there's also cases where players think that they're worth something. They get in the portal. There's not as much demand for them, and they get paid less. I can agree to that to an extent. There are certain players that coaches just want instead of others. And again, that's why a lot of coaches are gone. A lot of the coaches on the staff are gone, guys. A lot of the coaches on this staff are gone. We've already talked about that till the cows come home. We can bring up all the things that we want to say have been wrong about the last 3 years, and they're absolutely correct. And now it would appear that there are changes being made because it's realizing that those decisions were probably not the right ones. I think I'll be interested to see what players CU will be able to outbid other schools for with their seemingly limited NIL. Okay, again, we don't have limited NIL. We have probably a majority. If we were to put this into little brackets, I would say there's like 10% of the teams that are in the upper echelon that are overpaying and that have this larger amount. Then there's 80% of the teams that are in this middle area where they have to, do everything together. They have roughly the same amounts. And then there's 10% of the teams that do not have the money to compete at all. Colorado's not in that 10%. I don't know why everybody keeps bringing up comments and saying things, acting like Colorado's in that 10%. No, they're in the 80% bulk of most schools with roughly the same amount of budget. Okay? There are a handful of teams that have probably a good 16 or 10 to 15 million more than a few teams out there. There you go, Northside. So you can't afford to not pay decent players unless your coaching staff is good at developing. I think you need both. Media gets mad when we point out the obvious. It's true. You're not wrong. I don't know if it's just me, but everything literally from the air they breathe has to change for next season. This is literally year 4. Expect less cameras, less BS, actual work. You're not wrong, Gotti. I think you're right there. No, I think Indiana is in that middle echelon. Like I said, a lot of people will point out that Indiana has more money or they're up with the big boys now all of a sudden. That's why they're in the CFP and that's why they're the second ranked. No, they have a damn good coaching staff that knows how to find players and knows how to not overpay for players that are not going to be good for them. They pay the players what they need to. They find some diamonds in the rough. They develop really well. That's where Indiana's at. Indiana is in the same echelon as Colorado. Just so you know, I was told that directly. When it comes to how they're building things. Coaching staff's damn good. Hard to argue value or play the blame game when the Buffs were 3-9. Keith, you're not wrong there either. You're not wrong. If anything, we could say everything was wrong. You're 3-9. You're not a good program. Everything was wrong. If somebody wants to clip this and put it up on the internet, please do. You were 3-9. Okay? Everything should be reevaluated. From the players to the coaching staff to the culture to the recruiting. We said this during the season when Colorado got stomped and blown out in 2 straight games. David and I literally said that. And we said we would love to have the recruiting staff thrown out because of what they did. And guess what? They were. Corey Phillips is not here anymore. He is not at Colorado. And there are so many people on the staff that are not at Colorado anymore. We got a new linebackers coach. That is something that people have been clamoring for forever. We got a new offensive coordinator. That is something people have been clamoring for 3 years. Okay? Someone else said it. Where has Reach the People been? Where has Well Off Media been? There's no stuff behind the scenes of Colorado right now. Look, that's another big change. That's another big change that has happened. Bingo, Gotti. Food, living, exercises, mood, morning meetings, practices, goals, everything. F the Big 12 championship, just be better than last year. Bingo. That's what we're looking at. That's why Coach Prime decided, I'm blowing this up. We're rebuilding right now. I am not going to walk away from this mess, and I'm not going to act like things have worked out. And that is why last video I said that I respect Coach Prime, because I knew a lot of people would say, you're in year 4 and you're rebuilding? Oh, it hasn't worked out. Blah, blah. No, he learned a lesson, and he said, you know what? Rather than act like nothing is wrong, even though, again, yes, does he say it in the media? Look at his actions. He just cleaned house on everything going on with this program to restart in year 4, because he's like, oh, shoot, we did things wrong. And rather than let somebody else come in here and do it, I'm just going to do it and try and right this ship now by changing what didn't work. That's what's happening. That's what's happening. And, buddy, that's why Greaves is still on the team. Greaves is still on the team. Coach Hart's still here because Coach Hart, I will be honest, not that bad of a talent evaluator. He's pretty good at connecting with the kids and recruiting them. Is he the best X's and O's coach to have as the linebacker? Probably not. That's why they got a new one. Keep him for what he's good at. It's a good way to put it. I kind of like that. Going to be hard for CU to recruit Florida and Georgia region because of all the competition. I think California pipeline or even Midwest region could be more lucrative. Well, in Darien, Colorado itself could be good. We found out today, by the way, guys, for those of you that did not watch Matt, he brought up all of the Corey Phillips stuff. I already talked about that. He added a little bit of spice to the story, and that Drake Nugent wanted to come play at Colorado, and Colorado and Corey Phillips at the time shut him out completely. If you guys don't know who Drake Nugent is, you should, because again, he was one of the linemen for the national champion winning Michigan Wolverines when they won. But he wanted to come to Colorado and play for Coach Prime and was told no. Just straight up no. No negotiation. It wasn't a money thing. It was, no, we're not taking you. So, I mean, let's start there. Let's see what Box does in Colorado. Let's see what he does with these kids that have said they want to come to Colorado. And we're told pretty much that you are a second-class citizen because Colorado does not have football players. That's exactly what he said. That's part of the reason I said I would potentially have Matt in the shows, because I would like to have more info on that stuff. But I get what people say of the, they just don't like him who he is. They don't like what he has to say. It's fine. You can have your opinions, whatever it is. You're not wrong. You're not wrong there. Nuke, I don't even know if it's 6. But it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy what's going on with the quarterback position right now. And the fact is that Colorado could be in a lot worse shape if Julian Lewis was out the door and wasn't coming. Absolutely would be terrible, and in a terrible position if that happened. Okay? So there's that. But hey, that's what we got going on, okay? So to summarize, if you're coming in an hour late, Colorado has a mid-tier budget. There is only a very small handful of schools that is in that upper tier budget as far as NIL goes. It's not everybody. It's not as many as you think. Colorado's right where it needs to be, but The boosters and donors are pushing to get towards that upper echelon tier to help out Coach Prime. They truly are. And a lot of what's going to go that long way to doing that, not just for this year, but for multiple years, is what happens in this transfer portal. They want to see what Coach Prime is about to build. They want to see what they're able to bring in and how they're able to compete. Because right now they need a lot, as a lot of people said. It was pretty crazy, but that the fact that he ended up at Stanford is still kind of crazy too. Appreciate you, Coach Dre. Appreciate you coming by. I know, Lexus. I wanted to bring up his comments. He's not wrong. Okay, Drake Nugent is a great baller, and he did want to come play for CU. That's a fact. Offensive line, portal tackle, Chauncey McGill, portal guard, Larry Johnson. I think we potentially, we're going to bring in at least 4 portal linemen. Because I don't think you just hand the job over to Chauncey. McGill, if he can get extra, eligibility, then sure, he can stay. We definitely need at least 2 guards and 2 tackles. 2 guards and 2 tackles from the portal. Crashing out over losing a receiver and safety is crazy. I'd rather crash out over Alex. That's true, Davis. Alex is probably the worst loss out of that. He really is. We should be getting that split this year. You got to realize we still had contracts and weird things with the Pac-12. But money will increase this year as well. Money will increase this year as well. But money's going to increase for a lot of teams too. Why are we assuming Seaton's gone? He changes. At this point, it changes every day what people say. Again, I'm not speculating. I'm not telling you I know anything about Seaton and where he's going. People are just wanting to say whatever they're wanting to say. Okay. So I will say for now that he is on the roster as of right now until he enters the portal. Let's not try and worry about that or think about it or do whatever that's true. If that stuff is true about them watching how to do drills on YouTube, this program won't last. Need actual people. Again, Gotti, those coaches are gone. Those coaches are gone. Literally, our tight ends coach is gone. Our offensive coordinator is gone. Our linebacker coach is gone. Like, yeah, those comments are damning in that several players have corroborated that story that came out. And guess what? All of that stuff is gone. All that stuff is gone. Let's get it. Let's get some. Here we go, buddy. Russ, you done Christmas shopping? What'd you get your wife? Yes, I am done Christmas shopping. We're ready for Christmas. I do got to go to the store tonight to get an extra prime rib for Christmas. I love cooking me some prime rib. I'm the cook in the family. Let's get light with this, buddy. I love the question. Bought my wife some Cotopaxi jackets that she really wanted. That's what I did for her. So I appreciate you. My wife bought me sports cards. I don't know if you guys have noticed, my sports card collection has been growing in the background. Right there, right there. Those are a couple new cards. That whole glass back there, by the way, are graded cards, including a lot of CU players, by the way. That's there. Oh, yeah, I meant to show this to you guys last week when I was saying about being a longtime fan, and I tweeted about it. But man, is this thing clean. Man, is this thing clean. Look at this card. Look at this Laviska Shenault card and how clean that looks with the Buffaloes, the autograph, the picture, the jersey patch. Look at that thing. Slick. Recently got that for my card collection that I'm part of. But there you go. Let's see what else you guys got. I appreciate the question, buddy. I appreciate the question. Get a little bit lighter there for a second. Thought I'd get off that. Northside, trust me, we are recruiting FCS, G5, JUCO hard for players rather than SEC, Big 12 castaways. It's happening, Northside. And if you're one of those people out there that believes in that mantra instead of just SEC and Big 10, like I see some people who say, oh, we only need that, don't go this way. Some people are going to be happy, some people aren't. But that's what's going to happen. LaVishka, we were talking about this. Got to head out and fly back to Colorado at 6 a.m. to spend the holidays with fam. We'll be rocking my Pop-Tarts, blowing merch. Good luck, Buffs. Appreciate you, Darren. Appreciate you. Russ, I have a bone to pick with you. I watched the Denver game because you said they were doing so good and they lost. Trust me, that was one of the worst games I've ever seen them play in a long ass time. I'm worried about the playoffs now, going in as a 1 seed or 2 seed or whatever. Atkins played with my son. Plenty more talented D2 that needs to be recruited. Absolutely, Chief. I know that. Colorado has a pretty big D2 football scene. Some pretty good players out there. That is true, Bomar. Can you imagine that? They'll pick one of the schools to be like their school. Like you don't see Wester or Jimmy Horn saying, wherever, Florida, they say Colorado, but you'll have somebody, but that'd be funny. I want somebody to say that, say all like 8 schools that they went to while they were there. Yeah. 2 seed, right, Kelly? So, Russ, as of now, at this point, we only have about 27 on the players in the roster, correct? I'd have to go check, Larry. By the way, guys, this eligibility stuff is absolutely killing me. Because, Sean Myers, even at the beginning of the year, said that this was it. Like, he was done, he had nothing left, and then he enters the portal. Absolutely crazy. Now he's entering the portal. I guess he has more eligibility left. I don't know where these kids get the eligibility. So I have no idea who's here, who's not. I love it, Lexus. No, I love the lightning of the moon. I appreciate you guys too. We've got 2,500 people watching, by the way. Please, please, please like. I said we'd be close to that 7,000 mark. You guys absolutely crushed it on Saturday. Absolutely crushed it today. We're almost to 6,200 already. We're already a big chunk of the way towards 7,000 subscribers thanks to what you guys have been doing. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Yeah, I appreciate you. Pup protection. Don't worry about what people are saying. I was going to have something to say regardless of what you say. I know. For me, I'll tell you guys right now, the weekend, a little bit rough on my mental health with doing that video, talking about it, the things that I was being told, being said, the things I was being messaged. It wasn't easy. It definitely wasn't. So I appreciate all the support that you guys give by watching this video, by doing all the little things. I get it. I'm not trying to again, I don't want this to become like a grift that I only do this for the money. The money helps that stuff. The money definitely helps with my mental health. Absolutely. But like I said, my dream would have been to be a part of an organization and a company like a DNVR at some point. Is that probably ever happening now? No, it probably is not. With me doing that stuff on video, with me talking about that publicly, I have probably burned that bridge. So that is what it is. But I wanted to get that info out because I thought as Buffs fans, we needed to know what was happening and where we were going as a program to let you guys know, hey, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Okay? Things are going in a good direction. I get that, but, based on the conversations I had this weekend, I don't know if that's happening. I don't know if Corey, I didn't say that. Somebody in the chat said that. I don't know what the number is. TMFB, I appreciate you. I do. I would have never thought in a million years that I would even have this sort of following on my own channel. The bigger that this channel gets and the more successful it gets, the less that I would even think about doing that and joining an organization like that. I'll let you guys know. I reached out to a couple of the other organizations that technically compete with DNVR. You're Locked On. If you're not local, you don't know them, but Guerrilla Sports is another local sports entity. I reached out to them trying to say, hey, I've got this thing going on It's bigger than what you have going Buffs wise. If there was some way we could partner, I would absolutely love to. They didn't give me the time of day. And now, things are blowing up even more. And I definitely do better views and watch and, subs and all that than those organizations do. It would have been a boon to them, but it is what it is. It is what it is. So there's that. How many more are going to enter the portal? I mean, there's definitely more coming, guys. I don't think that's it. But I do love the guys that have said they're locked in. The list of guys that have said they're locked in, by the way, grew. I mean, Quentin Gibson talked about it. Quinnell Farrakhan X posted about it. So they're locked in. Julian Lewis is locked in. Damon Greaves is locked in. JuJu is locked in. There are guys that are locked in. I appreciate you, King. I really do. That's the whole point I did that video. I wanted to get people off that ledge and just realize, hey, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. I hate that Notre Dame is independent, but I live it that you are. Smile. Joe's got some work to still put in. Absolutely, Gotti. I'd agree with that. He's got the raw talent. He's got to get more on that. Got to work on that route running. Locked On ain't loyal to nobody. I know it's a very interesting organization. Like I said, I thought something might happen with it, but I can continue being independent for you guys. I just like the idea of having more people to talk about this stuff with, when I hung out at CU football games with the DNVR crew, I thought they were pretty cool. It'd be fun to get to chat with them about stuff and do that. But, it'd be a dream to be able to do this full time as my job. To be able to talk sports literally was what I went to school for. My day job is fine. Clutch Sports, had not looked into them at all. I'm up for whatever if I can still be me. The whole reason I wanted to partner with those that I reached out at the beginning of the season was to see if I could get you guys some more access. I mean, now that I'm in Boulder's backyard, I'm literally a 30-minute drive away from Folsom Field. I just thought it'd be cool to be able to give you guys some more actual insight directly into the program and be my own thing. You're not getting access to even, press conferences at CU without some kind of big name behind you. So that was part of why I looked at that. That's true. It's not that they couldn't afford to keep Byard. Okay. That, again, you completely misconstrued that. It's, is it worth it to keep Byard when you have other needs that you want to get and spend the money on? Is a $500K safety going to win you games, or could several $200K players have a better opportunity to win you games? That's the only thing I said earlier. But there's that. You guys, yeah, the rejected will be respected. I can agree to that. I can agree to Bucky on that. Any word on new GM? Are you going to open up the phone chat on Wednesday? Larry Lightfoot, I think the plan is to open up the phone line once the portal opens, just to let you guys know. We'll do a phone episode and let you guys go there. I don't think that the GM position at Colorado actually matters. So there's that. We're going to be fine because Prime's health and in total control, making some moves just because we're moving in silence like a real G. Exactly, Coach Dre. More things are going to happen. We are going to hear a lot more things here in the next week or so. Guys, Christmas will be coming to Buffs fans. I'm telling you, Christmas will be coming. That Drake dude from Locked On needs Borba because if Chad like Russ got in there, he'll steal some of that spotlight. What do I know? I appreciate it, Sir Guy. I appreciate it. Russ, sometimes the messenger catches the arrow. Stay authentic, stay you. People are with you. I believe you. And you guys are doing unbelievable. Like the fact that in the last week, I've gained 300 subscribers after being pretty even the whole season, absolutely destroyed. And now we're like on a big upwards trend. The amount of viewers, I don't know if you guys have looked at the lives from the last like week to 2 weeks. During the season, I was averaging, I'll let you guys know about views wise. I was averaging about 1,000 to 1,500 views on my videos. In the last week, 2 weeks, I should say, the last 2 weeks, all of my streams have been averaging anywhere between close to 5 to over 10K, which is a big, big difference. So you guys are being the ones that are pushing this more than anything. You guys are doing insane with that. So I do appreciate you guys and what you're doing. And it is helping. It is helping a ton. Do you feel like Colorado has too many players they need to fill? Yeah, I do. That's why I don't think I'm being one of the realistic ones when I say I don't think we're winning the Big 12 championship next year. I would be happy with a 6-win season next year because of how many players they're going to have to replace. It is a full rebuild, reboot. Can we improve on a 3-9 season is going to be the real question. I think good players will come because they know they can start. Though, absolutely. When you see this many holes, you know that if you come to Colorado, that you're going to play. There's no doubts about that. Injury prone players not worth giving a big bag to. We can talk about that too. They can afford to pay him, but they don't value him at the number. How hard is that to understand? Steve, you get it. And people are going to say, oh, he's absolutely... No, the Colorado doesn't value him at this moment at that number. Every sports team in the world when it comes to professional sports has been in that position with a star player or a good player or whatever, and fans will question it until the cows come home. They will question it until the cows come home, and it'll be a problem. Yeah, assets game now. Lexus, we're working on something. I've been talking to Coach Dre. We're gonna put together something with him, and I think also some other people in the new year as well. Don't get stuck in the portal. Absolutely, Joe. I always appreciate you, man. Apologies for not realizing that I wasn't following you already on Twitter X. But you're a real one. You're a real one. It's weird because I thought last week's video was the best yet. Buddy, it keeps getting better. It keeps getting better. My Marion video just continues to go upwards. I mean, it's doing this. And that's what happens with YouTube, by the way. If you guys ever want to become a content creator or whatnot, I will tell you, here's your best advice, okay? Consistency is king. And it may take a long time, but eventually things will break out. And when they do in the YouTube space, they do jump and drastically go up. And I think we're at that point with this channel. You know, I saw some decent success, especially for a brand new channel, you know, the first year, the second year. But it seems like this month has been that catalyst to see a much bigger ascend. And I do appreciate you guys for that. Ohio State's paying backups $500K. Stop acting like it's a lot of money. I literally talked about Ohio State's budget. It's not unlimited. It's not unlimited. And if you think they're paying all their backups $500K, you're surely mistaken. There's a difference between a backup and like a freshman who they're going to develop into that spot that has a high ceiling. They're not just paying some random guy who's sitting on the bench $500K. If you think that, go ahead. I got a beachfront property to sell you here in Colorado. Prime created this mess and Prime is fixing it. It's what my whole video is about. Go check it out from Saturday. Quite his job. He was vested, had Colorado sword, not a broke on step back. He'd be in the green right now, but he can. Okay, we're talking about that. Can you comment on? I already did Monty at the beginning. I didn't like what his comment was. I saw what he was trying to get across. I didn't like how he didn't. I don't like him throwing out the dollar amount. I don't like him using the players' stats and saying that they're replaceable. Like they're not, you know. Stats aside, Tawfiq Byard was a heart and soul guy that was an absolute dog that gave and sacrificed so much for Colorado. It wasn't fair to say that. What up, Kai? Appreciate you dropping by. The state of Colorado could be. We'll have to see what happens with CSU. CSU, yeah, Jim Moore was a great hire, but since then, some of the stuff that's happened at CSU is kind of head-scratching. Bringing back their defensive coordinator from that team is not a good sign. It's not a good sign at all. I don't know who they're looking at yet. I just know that there is a massive player board that they're going through, that they're working towards right now, and there will be a lot of signings on signing day. That's what we can say. Yes, they are. Monty, you're not wrong. They are going to have to recruit a ton. It is going to be a crazy type job. Depends on what he was looking for. Depends on what they're bringing in. I mean, for all we know, Northside, they already know who they're bringing in linebacker-wise, and Myers didn't want to sit in the bench again. You know what I mean? I hope that makes sense. But if they're bringing in two guys that end up being way better than Myers, like, are we questioning that later on? Who knows? Funny how you somehow have sources but won't call out the players for running to YouTubers like females. I didn't say they were like females for doing that. I said it hurts their career more. The people who are my sources are not players. They're not in that sort of position. And so I'm just saying it's tough as a player to do those sort of things because you can hurt your career. The people who are feeding the information, the sources that I have, are a little bit different because they have the money behind them versus the play behind them. That's all I'm saying. A player can get blacklisted for feeding information, but a booster is not going to get blacklisted for feeding information because guess what? They're giving the money up to the program. Do you see the difference in that? Does everybody understand what I'm saying when I say that? If a player wants to do that, they're absolutely fine with doing that. I'm just saying it can hurt your career a lot worse when you don't have that money to back it up. Yep, that is true, Dre. You know it. That linebacker coach is going to be bringing a lot of stuff quick. Russ, do you think some linebackers that Hart wanted are in the portal? Like, do you mean guys on the team that he wanted to keep, or do you mean like new guys that Hart wanted to bring in? Sean was good. Let's see where Sean Myers ends up first, Northside. I think we can do better than Sean. That's my point. He was good for a 3-9 team. I think we can do better than that. You guys, I don't think you guys are correlating the things with the same thing. Being great on a 3-9 team is different than being great on a championship level team. People keep asking, what is my, I mean, I'll tell you this. I would love for this team to change up the culture, to find ways to unite with one another. Okay. One of those ways that colleges use to unite is a fight song is definitely part of that. Am I saying that CU will never be successful as long as the fight song is out? No. I just said, and I think that the fight song is a great way to bring some extra culture in and to unite people together. That's all I'm saying. It's not the end of the world like some people want to make it out to be. All that. Also, real quick, before I forget, just because I keep remembering and then forgetting and remembering, big shout out. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but my logo is lighted up again. And I don't know if you've noticed it's been off since I moved. Part of that was because the neon on that was too bright that it would wash out the camera and cause issues. I got that neon from the same company. So shout out to Saturday Neon for, I bought both those, so they're not sponsored. They didn't give them to me. But Saturday Neon did reach out to me about this sign and asked me why it wasn't lit up. And I told them that, hey, it was too bright to light up and show on my screen. And they were nice enough to send over a dimmer for that neon light to allow me to go a lower level on that light so I could show it again. So, hey, shout out to Saturday Neon. If you guys want logo stuff, I mean, these things are so cool. They're expensive. They're not cheap. I'll admit that. But they're really cool for anybody's like room, man cave, basement, whatever it is. Appreciate. I want to do a shout out to Saturday Neon for sending me that so that I could get that sign back lit up so we can get some more ambiance going behind me. I appreciate it. Rick, the only reason I could see us winning that high is if a lot of the teams in the Big 12 struggle to put together teams next year. With all of the quarterbacks leaving, as long as they don't just move within the Big 12 and they leave the Big 12, I could see us having a better chance at that, but it's going to take a lot to get there. It's going to take a lot to get there, guys. Do you think some of these players hit the portal and see there isn't money or a chance? Do they come back to see you? King, could that happen? Absolutely. The problem with that is if you burn a bridge on your way out, you're not coming back across that bridge. So it just depends on how they left and what they left. And I think a lot of that can be said by, and people have brought it up, you know, you see who Coach Prime is saying goodbye to on Twitter and who he's not, and who he's not acknowledging. I can only assume that stuff happened on the way out that is causing him not to say bye to certain players. Yep. It's a quality thing. Random rap after. It's true. It's true. I'll wait and see. Again, I'll wait and see. I get there's arguments now about Myers and who he is and all that. If we bring in better players, then we bring better players. If we don't, then yeah, we can talk about that being a mistake. But not everything's going to be perfect. The best school players play for the name on the front, but at CU, they're playing for the name on the back. Prime doesn't seem to care about school culture. Panther, he does now. He's trying, maybe not school culture, but he's trying to change the culture in this building by getting rid of a lot of people that he believes were not great this year and kind of destroyed the culture that they were moving towards with the 9-4 season, that once Coach Prime was gone and out of the building due to his health, obviously crept in. That's what I talked about on Saturday if you need to see that video. David, you're not wrong there. College football, by the way, is losing its culture over in general. It's not just Colorado. I get that a lot of the bigger schools still have their culture and all that stuff, and they can still carry it on. But I'm just saying in general, it's becoming more and more about money than it is about the school itself and the name on the front. You guys aren't wrong there. Can you put a link to the Neon Sign Company? Yeah, buddy. Let me get that for you. You know what I'm going to do? Let me reach out to them because I want to thank them again for doing that. I want to see if maybe they want to do a partnership. Maybe I can get a link to send you guys to have posted that you guys can get a discount for them. And then I can show that I'm also, you know, getting support through that. I'm sure you guys would appreciate that if you want to go buy a sign, especially for Christmas or New Year's or whatever. Let me reach out to them and see what they say. I'll post on my Twitter, buddy. And then I'll talk about it in the next stream if I get something. Otherwise, I'll set it over. Challenge with some fans that fall in love with players because they have so much access. But that doesn't always equate to talent. The linebacker room was far from talented. Big Mike, you are not wrong. Thank you for saying that. I kind of alluded to that at the beginning. We're a little too tied to these players. We are. We're a little too tied to these players. By the way, majority of you guys who are watching, it's on Twitter. I can see it right now. There's 2,000 people on Twitter watching. There's not as much on YouTube. Please jump over the YouTube to watch this if you can. I don't want to have to go YouTube only at some point to try and drive at least people to actually use the YouTube side of things to watch this. Please, 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 if you're watching this, scoot over there, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. It doesn't cost you a thing. I'm not asking you to become a member. You can become a member of this channel, but I'm not like pushing you to that. And I'm not like forcing that upon anybody. I don't want to be that. But at minimum, just watch on YouTube, hit the like button on YouTube, all that stuff. It helps. Prime has been promoting Boulder and pouring everything to CU. How can anyone say Prime doesn't care? He definitely does care. That's for sure. I think we're going to be in a lot of names, Sir Guy. I think we'll be on a lot of names. Yeah, I was going to say Texas Tech is the #1 NIL school in the Big 12. I will say that said booster listed them as being in the upper echelon. Okay, there is a difference there. Coach Prime, a prideful man in a good way. I will take a motivated Prime with consolidate. King, you're not wrong there. He is motivated this year. He is motivated to fix this, no matter what people say. They can think that just because he's going and watching Shador on Sundays right now, that he is not committed, which I see way too many people bringing up. He is committed. There is, like I said, there is changes. He is working around the clock, watching tape, evaluating both players on the team and players in the portal that they're going to go after. He is taking a much more hands-on approach than he ever was. Mike, I always appreciate you. Always appreciate you. I appreciate it, Rodney, as well. Thank you guys so much for doing that. Oh, that's hilarious. Let's see what Shador does. Does Prime have an opinion on paying players? Prime is fine with the idea of paying players, but he has been vocal about the fact that we do need to fix the system because the system is way too Wild Westy, you know, to be able to pull together a great product along the whole thing. I mean, Prime, literally one of the few coaches, one of the first coaches that came straight out and said there needs to be contracts. There needs to be contracts, not only for the schools, guys, but for the players. It protects the players too. Like, they will benefit from it as well if we can get to sign contracts at some point. Okay? So sad that people trip about Coach Prime going to support his son. I guess if there's someone with NFL, they wouldn't want to support him either. I get that too. Coach Prime ain't going nowhere for 4 years. I keep telling y'all he loved this. He keeps his competitive edge cracking. He is a single man with independent kids. Said he wants to be on Mount Rushmore. I think he wants to try that. Mike on the how's Big Red looking? Who knows? It's not an easy time, not right now, Mike. We can live in misery together. Who knew that Nebraska fans and CU fans could live in harmony at some point? It's very simple. Indiana grabs players based on the production in the portal. Prime is now doing the same thing. As he evaluates the current roster, many besides O and Byard can be easily replaced. You're not wrong, Matt. You're getting it. You're getting it. Okay, guys, I'm going to call it quits there. I appreciate being with me for an hour and a half. Hopefully it wasn't too much just rambling. Hopefully you got something out of this stream. Hopefully you were able to watch the beginning when I talked about the budget, what it's looking like, what's going forward. So at least you have a better knowledge of that and an idea of where we are going in that direction, how we're going to build. Guys, be patient, please. Be patient, and let's wait and see what the team does in the portal. Okay, let's see what this team does in the portal. Okay, players have to go in order for players to come in. Let's see what happens. Let's wait it out. There's a lot coming. There's a lot more coming. This is just the very beginning part, which is you have to have the players leave first because the portal is not open yet. The portal is not officially open to grab players from. You can leave. You can announce you're leaving. That's it. Let's wait until we get to hear who's actually coming before we figure that stuff out. Okay? Emilio, we've talked about DeAndre Moore. He could very well be a very good target for Colorado if he wants to come in. If that's who Brennan Marion wants, then hey, that might be it. But I appreciate you guys. Hey, Merry Christmas. Unless something happens crazy, probably no stream Christmas Eve or Christmas. Okay? Let's wait. Maybe Friday, Saturday. Let's see what happens news-wise. If something big happens, I'll try and go live for you guys, so be on the lookout for that. But I appreciate you guys so much. Until next time, as always, I am Russ for Buffs News Weekly Live. I appreciate all of you guys out there. As always, Sco Buffs. See you guys.